The month of December is upon us. We are neck deep in fourth quarter, and now is a time where you really get to see where people's TCG interests are. All of these deals are rolling out through TCG Player and other websites, and your local mom and pop LGSs, and you see people coming in looking for specific products, saying, hey, do you have deals on this? Can I get, this certain booster box, or do you have these singles in yet? And I think it's been a very productive month talking about everything throughout November up until now. We'll talk about Magic first because it seems to have some of the biggest highs and lows. On the highs part, Ixalan was an amazing set. People are loving it. The company I work for, we sold out company-wide of set booster boxes. People wanted their hands on this product. They love the themes of Ixalan. It's a fun plane to return to. You got dinosaurs, pirates, mermaids, vampires, conquistador vampires. There's a lot to love about Ixalan. There's a lot of flavor there. And Wizards delivered. With the amount of solid content within this set, this is a standard relevant set. It is a modern relevant set. I'm not so sure on Pioneer. I haven't really checked in with my Pioneer players. But Ixalan is a popular set. People are loving it. On the other hand, you have the Lord of the Rings holiday release. You had the scene boxes as well as the special edition collector's boxes come out. People not as hot on those. I think the reception for these scene boxes has just completely flatlined since the initial release of Lord of the Rings. What people have learned is that, well, this set essentially has two cards in it that maintain value, which are the One Ring and Orcish Bowmasters. And people are expecting Orcish Bowmasters to get banned from the only format that it's legal in. So we're waiting until Monday to hear the official ban announcement, but there's not enough value in these scene boxes other than just a display piece that people are really going in on. And so a lot of those sitting on shelves untouched. The collectors packs, a little more interest there from collectors. That's who they're made for, so hopefully there's some interest there. But it's still nothing close to the original Lord of the Rings release. So if Wizards had just ignored this second holiday release and put all of this product out at the same time, or even just a few weeks after the initial Lord of the Rings release, before the One Ring had been found, or at least the announcement made that the One Ring had been found, then I think they would have been much better off there. Pokemon also had a strong release in November with Paradox Rift. A lot of fun cards coming out of this set. Definitely the most powerful set, the most interesting set in the Scarlet and Violet block. And Pokemon has just continued to do what they've been doing with these Scarlet and Violet sets that they began doing back in Sword and Shield sets, where they just start pumping out amazing artwork. You have these $2 and $3 cards that look like they could cost $40 to $60 each. And they give Pokemon love that don't always get it. Every Pokemon is designed to be somebody's favorite Pokemon, and they make sure that each of those Pokemon are going to get spotlight at some point. Of course, yeah, your Charizards and your Mewtwo's are always going to get more spotlight because they are more popular. It makes sense. But it's also nice to see Pokemon like Aegislash or Joltik get some really cool artwork on a card. It's also shifted the metagame enough to keep things interesting. One of the worst problems that Pokemon has throughout its history is just formats getting stale. When they print a card that is just too good, and then they refuse to make a banned or limited list for standard format. That's a point that a lot of people do like about Pokemon, but when it is detrimental to your overall format, then people get tired of playing Mew VMAX for years at a time. But Pokemon has continued to be on top of the secondary market by reprinting sets over and over again. Multiple waves of Pokemon 151, multiple waves of Paradox Rift, making sure that people can get the product that they want and that scalpers are forced out of the market because there's no upsell. Even on singles, it keeps the prices relatively stable. Yeah, your Charizard's still going to be $120. Your Blastoise from 151 is still going to be $40 to $50. That's just a good place for those cards to be. It's not anything necessarily wrong. It just means that they reflect what people will actually pay for the rarity, your likelihood of actually pulling it out of a pack that you have paid for. And last but not least of the big three, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has also knocked it out of the park with their 25th anniversary rarity collection. People went nuts over rarity collection, had amazing pulls in it, but as Konami tends to do with Yu-Gi-Oh! They also just pumped out a bunch of other nothing sets that nobody cared about. When you have such an amazing set like Rarity Collection and then you follow it up not long after with a set like Valiant Smashers, what are you expecting? Konami is bad for just pumping out a lot of sets, a lot of boxes with just cheap packs in them that have maybe one chase card that people want if they are running that specific deck. But overall, all of the big three are looking solid. Yu-Gi-Oh! A little bit on the weaker side, and just for my experience, at least within an LGS, I can say that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is losing a lot of popularity. It's losing a lot of players that are going over to other card games. People are jumping ship to go play Commander and Magic because you build one deck and you're done until you want to build another deck, and that's just way more desirable of a play style, especially for people that don't have a lot of time or a lot of extra money to invest into card games. And that's where I think Konami's going to run into trouble eventually with these other card games that are catching up very quickly and are becoming more than just tertiary card games. I'm looking at you, One Piece. OP05 has tons of excitement around it. Much like Pokemon, they've been ramping up their artwork with every set. There is something in One Piece now for collectors, for players, for longtime One Piece fans, for people that have just gotten into it. I've encountered a ton of One Piece TCG players that have never read the manga, never watched the anime. Their entry point into that franchise was the card game because they saw other people playing it. It looked fun, it looked different, and a lot of people are on board with that. There are a ton of people excited about OP05. Ton of people excited about the structure decks. This is one of the only TCGs, aside from Yu-Gi-Oh!, where I see people getting excited about precons, about structure decks. People really want the Uta deck. People really want the Sanji and Zoro deck. Like, there's a lot of cool cards in there, and I think Bandai has made a good choice by making some cards exclusive to their structure decks because you increase the value of those precons. Bandai definitely flubbed up with their Whitebeard ban, and banning a card and then making everybody freak out, going like, okay, well, Whitebeard's banned now, I'm just going to sell my stuff, I'm just going to take apart this Whitebeard deck, not going to be able to use it anymore. And due to fan reaction, 3 days later, it's like, oh yeah, oops, sorry guys, actually that ban's only going to be in effect for 1 month until the next set comes out, because the next set's just going to fix everything. And that made people upset. After that announcement, One Piece players showing up to play dropped off. It could also be because we're moving into holiday season, people have other things to do, but I really think the ban announcement really put a bad taste in people's mouths, and OP05 is gonna have to correct that. Bandai also had a new Digimon release with Blast Ace. I'm a big fan of Blast Ace, but that's just because I'm biased. Metal Greymon is my favorite Digimon, right up there with Beelzemon, and he gets some love in this set. It's not a set that's going to drastically change any Digimon metagame, but it is a fun set that has some familiar favorites in there, and so people were showing up for it. And lastly today, I do want to mention a card game that I've not talked about yet, and that is Sorcery Contested Realm. Yes, I actually went in and bought a beta box set, which comes with a beta box and then the structure deck set. This is a card game that had a lot of attention on Kickstarter, and as alpha boxes were going out, people were very curious what the secondary market for this was going to look like. Would people actually care about picking up sealed product? And even more so, would people care about the singles? Like, would this actually have a singles market and an economy forming around Sorcery the way that other card games have been able to do? And I think with the data that's out so far, it's saying, yeah, there's enough interest in this card game to where there is a singles market, and it's pretty strong. And one of the reasons is because I'm assuming, like me, a lot of people just picked up beta boxes, slightly out of curiosity, but also for, a little bit of speculation, in that they're holding on to sealed product. There's not enough singles to support the people that want to play, that want to get the singles, and so it's driving the prices up. There's not as much supply because people are keeping their cards sealed. They're not actually opening booster boxes. They're not actually cracking packs. We saw the same kind of thing happen with Lorcana not too long ago when that Chapter 1 came out, and then Ravensburger had kind of shit the bed with it and not released enough product to really keep people satisfied, to keep the singles prices low enough so that people could actually get singles and play with the cards. That has since been rectified with the release of Wave 2 of Chapter 1, the release of Chapter 2. A lot more product out there. It's fully available for people. I had friends telling me that they were finding it at Walmart and at Target and that there were tons of it. They were saying, what is this game? I kind of want to play it. I like Disney stuff. I told them, I was like, yeah, go ahead and pick it up. Was scarce until now. And with that, you've actually kind of seen a drop off in interest where there's not scalpers showing up to LGSs anymore trying to buy out Chapter 2 of Lorcana. Because if you can go to a big box and get it, or if your LGS is just fully stocked on it, you kind of know walking out the door that you're not going to be able to make profit. And so I am curious to see, with this much product going out there, with the singles market being flooded because people are actually opening packs, they know that the speculation phase is over with. There's no point on hanging on to Chapter 1 sealed Lorcana anymore. Are more people going to show up and play? Is that player base going to grow, or will Lorcana kind of go the way of Force of Will or all of these other card games that have kind of come and gone because the companies behind them weren't able to fully support them and keep that longevity? So with Sorcery, we'll kind of have to wait and see. I don't know how many LGSs are actually going to be carrying Contested Realm stuff, or if really there's enough interest out there to make it a marketable product aside from the Kickstarter crowd. But that's just my quick recap from my observations over the past month or so, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where all of these card games are going. MTG has a lot coming out in early 2024. I'm very curious to see how people react to just the sheer number of releases between Universes Beyond, Standard Sets, Modern Horizon, Ravnica Remastered. It's a lot going on, and I think that's one of the pain points for Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro, is just people getting fatigued with the sheer number of sets. Pokemon also has Paldean Fates coming out, which is another bi-yearly Fate set, I guess is what they are now, where it's just reprints of cards but with the shiny Pokemon on the artwork. A lot of collectors get excited about these. Sometimes the players get excited if, stuff's getting reprinted that's going to drop the price of cards. I mean, we're getting more Charizards. Same Charizard that just gets shoveled back to us ever since Obsidian Flames came out. Like I said earlier, One Piece has a lot of excitement around it right now. A lot of other smaller card games in the game, like Cardfight Vanguard, Shadowverse, a lot of these are really starting to pop their heads up and get more attention as some of the bigger companies are starting to slip. I also want to hear more from you guys on what your experiences are with your LGS, with your experiences as a consumer trying to find these TCG products, and who is a coworker that revealed to me today that he's been watching my channel, and that's slightly embarrassing for me. Hi, Brandon. I hope you all have a wonderful December, that you make it through the holidays in one piece, and that you have an exciting start to 2024 when we'll be checking back in. I know there's not been a lot of content on the channel. That's because I'm working on some bigger projects that will probably be early 2024 hitting the channel when I have a little bit more time to do some editing. So hopefully you're looking forward to that, and I'll see you then.